offering my most loving pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Esteemed Mr. Mahesh Kapriji, Zonal Coordinator for our organization. Shri R.S. Nair, Samithi Convener. Shri Ravi, our District Coordinator. Respected elders, brothers and sisters. The occasion that we are all here is the anniversary of Shri Sathya Study Circle. That's the name of our Samithi. Of course, whenever devotees gather together, it's an occasion for us to think of Swami. And it is said, Bhagavad Katha is Bhagavatam. The story of the Lord is called Bhagavatam, and the story of the Lord is also the story of his devotees. And in this Katha, as Swami would explain, the essence is in the letters of the Bhagavatam, Bhagavatamu. So Bha stands for Bhakti, Ga stands for Jnanam, Va stands for Vairagyam, Ta stands for Tattvam, and Mu stands for Mukti. So that story, which has all these ingredients, is called Bhagavatam. The greatest fortune of our life has been that we, in our own lifetime, were able to see Swami, know about him, and interact with him. I think more than this, there cannot be a greater lifetime achievement for any of us. After years of association with Bhagwan, one thing which has grown on me is how little I know him. Because here was a phenomenon who was beyond all scriptures, as the Vedas declare, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. He was beyond the description of words. He who is beyond even the grasp of the mind, such a person, how can we talk about? How can we describe? And yet, Bhagwan has said, there is one way in which you can describe the Lord. And what is that way? The Lord is the embodiment of love. I am Prema Swarupa, Swami would say. And if you describe me like that, you would not be far off the mark. So, it would be my humble endeavor to contemplate on that great personality when Bhagwan came amidst us. So because a lot of children are there, I thought I'll start with a small story from Swami's childhood. There was this incident. One day he was sitting in class, and in those days Bhagwan would not pay attention to the teacher, because all the time he would be writing bhajanavalis or Ashtottam Namavalis, and in those days no photocopier machine, etc. So he would himself make copies, distribute to his classmates, schoolmates. So he was busy doing that, and his teacher found that he was not taking the notes which were being dictated. So he said, this is a very bad example for all the students. So he made an announcement in the class. He said, all those who are not taking down notes, stand up. And there was only one student who was not taking notes, and that was little Sathya. So he got up. He said, why are you not taking notes? He said, sir, I have already understood what you have said. I don't need to take the notes. You ask me any question. In front of the whole class, a student is asking like this to the teacher. The teacher naturally felt highly insulted. And he said he must be taught a lesson. Adhika prasangi, you talk too much. He said, as a punishment, you stand up on the bench. And not only for my period, for the whole day, you have to stand up on the bench. And even as a small child, his classmates, his schoolmates considered Bhagwan as Guru. They used to call him Guru. And Bhagwan would say that, some of my classmates, they had failed so many times, so some of them were 25 years old, 26 years old, and all of them will call Sathya Guru. So everybody is sitting comfortably on the bench, and Sathya has been asked to stand up on the bench, and he was so short that in spite of standing on the bench, he is almost the height of the others as well. So they were feeling very, very uncomfortable. So the period ended, bell rang. Those days 40 minutes period used to be there. And the next teacher came, Janab Mahbub Khan. He was an English teacher and he used to love Swami a lot. So when he came to the door, he saw Sathya standing up at the bench. He was very, very surprised. He said, how come Sathya is standing on the bench as if he is punished for something? So the teacher was sitting on the table, so he was not coming out. So teacher told from there, I want to continue taking the class. And even at that point of time, the teachers of Sathya would vie with each other to take his class. So Janab Mahbub Khan said, nothing doing, I am not going to give you my class. I will take my class. So he came closer to him. He said, why are you sitting? Why are you not able to? He said, you know what has happened? The chair has got stuck to my bottom. I am not able to get up. And the students who were sitting on the first bench, they heard this dialogue and they also started smiling, giggling. And Mahbub Khan said, I think it is because you have made Sathya stand up on the bench. That is why this has happened. And the teacher also felt, I also think it is because of that. So he said, you make him sit down, then everything may become okay. So as it is, this teacher, was very, very upset about Sathya. So in a very angry tone, he said, sit down. And when he said, little Sathya sat down. The moment he sat down, the chair got separated from the bottom of the teacher and he was able to get up. And later on, as Kasturiji was pulling Swami's leg, Swami, what is this? You punished your teacher. He said, no, it was not punishment. The time had come for me to reveal to the world who I am. So I just used that as an occasion. Now this particular episode, I always love to narrate because in my understanding of Bhagwan's coming amidst us, there is a very deeper significance. Look at what has happened. Sathya sat down and the teacher got up. God's descent is for the ascent of man. Why should God, who is the Almighty, He need not do whatever He wants to do, He can do from wherever He is. Why should He come down amidst us? He comes down amidst us to uplift all of us to higher realms, to higher achievement, especially in the spiritual domain. So that is the Swami we came to know. I still cannot forget because my association with Swami was on so many fronts. So I came to him first as a schoolboy. I finished my schooling and joined his university for a degree course. And the very first day's experience remains indelible in my mind. We went in the morning to the hostel to get admitted, and the warden suggested, please come in the evening. My father had a railway booking, so he had to leave. So I assured him, now we have already met the warden and we know the place and I will make it myself, you don't have to worry, you please don't cancel your ticket. So he left. So after the evening bhajan at Prashanti Nilayam, I was alone. In those days, the last building in Prashanti Nilayam, today it has grown so much, it was West Prashanti 5. And I was in a room there, so I took my bedding and I was walking towards the mandir, to cross the mandir and walking towards the college. So I came where the bus stand is, and as I reached the bus stand, I kept the bedding down and I was catching up my breath, huffing and puffing. Suddenly two small boys came up to me. They were, later I came to know, in the 7th standard. So they asked me, brother, are you going to the hostel? I said, yes, I am going to the hostel. Can we help you? So I looked at them. I said, my God, they are not even half my height, and how odd it is to take help from such small kids. But the need got better of me. I said, okay, two of you all catch one side of the bedding, I will catch the other side. So from there, from the bus stand, we came to the college gate. And then two 12th class boys arrived there. They took over forcibly the bedding from the small boys. They said, no, you all are too small, you should not be doing all this, and we will help. And they took over the other side, and then we reached the hostel. You know, in our Vrindavan hostel, ever you visit, there's a small placard right at the entrance. It reads, a home is a place where each lives for the other and all live for God. A home is a place where each lives for the other and all live for God. That was the kind of feeling I had when I entered day one in the premises of my college and university. And I recall at this moment an incident which happened in England. You know, between England and France there is this water body which is called the English Channel. And especially for many people across the world, there is this great desire to cross the English Channel and to cross it any number of times swimming. So there was this ace English swimmer who had crossed the channel several times. He was traveling in a boat. Suddenly somebody fell overboard and he was drowning. So there was commotion in the boat and people started shouting, and some people jumped into the water trying to rescue the person who had fallen. And then somebody saw this champion English swimmer. So he came up to him, are you Mr. So-and-so? Yes, I am so-and-so. You are the person who crossed the English Channel so many times, you are a champion. Yes, I am so-and-so. And then he said, what is this? A person fell into the water and you are the champion. People who don't know swimming also have jumped into the water to save him. Why did you not go to rescue that person? And you know what this champion swimmer said? He said, nobody introduced me to him. Nobody introduced me to him. I asked myself this question on day one of my stepping into this university, when I was, not knowing anybody. Who knew me? Did those 7th class boys know me? Did the 12th class boys know me? And yet they came forward to help me. I felt, this is the first teaching of Swami that he is teaching me, which Jesus Christ gave to all his disciples. He said, see, I have loved you. Now you must love each other the same way. I have loved you. You must love each other the same way. So that is the kind of contagious love that, Swami manifested. His love for children, his love for students was something amazing to watch. One day it so happened, he had called some students. I was also sitting at Swami's feet. And suddenly out of the blue, Swami asked me, who is Jayaraman? I said, Swami is a student in the MSc class. And Swami said, go call him. So I went out, I searched, there were hundreds of students seated outside. I searched for him and I brought him into the interview room. And then Swami asked him, how's your stomach? And I was amazed, because this boy was having a very acute stomach problem, and the only food that he could digest was curd rice. And here is this boy, out of 600 students. In fact, later I asked him, did you tell Bhagwan that you are having this problem? He said, no sir, I didn't write a letter, I have not informed him. Nobody has informed him. One child is suffering, and see, Swami knows that this fellow is having this particular problem. So Swami said, he likes to eat chapati, why not you give him chapati? So I said, Swami, we will do it. And then he said, come near. So that small, it was a short boy, he came up to Swami. He was doing his MSc at that time. He came up to Swami and Swami waved his hand. And then out of his hand came such a big sugar candy piece, such a big sugar candy piece. And Swami gave it to him. And he tried to, pack it and maybe I'll take it to hostel, I will eat it. But Swami said, no, eat it here, in my presence. So in his presence, Swami made him eat it and blessed him. He said, now you go. So when I went back to the hostel, this is when I came to know that nobody had told Bhagwan about that boy. But that is Swami, he knows everything, what is happening anywhere in the world. He is aware. There is no doubt about that. In fact, once it so happened that there was a grandparent of one of our students. That boy was in the 8th class. So one day he was sitting in the portico. Those days the Ram Janma Bhoomi movement was very, very strong, early 90s. So this devotee from Hyderabad, he got up and Swami, please permit me to go to Ram Janma Bhoomi. And Swami, in a spontaneous way he said, for killing and getting killed, what permission you want? Killing and getting killed, what permission you want? No, Swami, I have to go, please bless. Then Swami suddenly said, shall I tell you which is the real Ram Janma Bhoomi, where Rama was born? And all of us became very, now, it is such a big controversy and everybody is eager to know, and now Swami is going to reveal top secret about to be told by none other than the Lord himself. So we were all ears waiting to hear, and then Swami said, where else? In Kaushalya's womb he was born. So, Swami in his own way had amazing ways. So this gentleman left, and a few days later his grandson was sitting in darshan line. So Swami was passing by, 8th class. So Swami went up to him, hey, where is your grandfather? So this fellow said, Swami, he has gone to Ram Janma Bhoomi. Then very casually Swami said, he'll go to Krishna Janma Bhoomi also. So this grandson, he felt very annoyed. Our grandfather came, he told he is going to Ram Janma Bhoomi. He didn't tell me he is going to Krishna Janma Bhoomi. How dare next time when he comes, I'm going to catch him. And Swami has revealed his plans to me and all that. After a few days, letter came from home that there was some Galata in Ayodhya, and in that Galata his grandfather got arrested. For some time he spent time in jail. So Krishna was born in jail. See, Swami, in such a casual way, revealed to the grandson, he'll go to Krishna Janma Bhoomi also. So, there is nothing which God is not aware about any one of us. He knows our past, He knows our present, He knows our future as well. But the story of this Jayaraman doesn't end there. Now it is just a few days left for him to finish his MSc, examination time. I was one day sitting in my office and this boy came. He said, sir, did you notice anything unusual in the dining hall? 600 students with teachers, they sit in the dining hall, have their food. Who is concerned what is happening elsewhere? He said, no, I didn't observe anything. What is it? He said, sir, for the last few days, I have been eating normal food. He said, is that so? How did it happen? He said, no, sir, I was thinking to myself, see, as long as I have been here in Swami's college, Swami took so wonderful care of me. And I have been able to eat some things which I was not able to eat. Such wonderful care Swami is taking. Now my education is getting over. Now I'm going to go out of this place. I don't know where life is going to take me. Who will take care of me outside? This was his worry. So he was worrying like that, and then suddenly he found that his stomach problem got cured. And when it got cured, he said, why not I try eating normal food? And for the last few days, he had been eating normal food and he was able to digest it. So he said, "Sir, Swami has cured me. He has permanently cured me. I was worrying who will take care of me. Swami has cured me completely." I said, wonderful. What a bond between Swami and devotees, and for that matter, especially young children. So this was one of the most revealing moments for me personally, that how Swami knows about each one of us. He may not talk to us, he may not, we may feel that he doesn't know us, but he knows everything. Another very beautiful incident from my student days, and which is, what should I say, a great lesson for me, for life. One day, it so happened that we were supposed to have an elocution competition in the college. And it so happened, some reason Swami was annoyed with the students. So he was not talking, he was not coming near them. So one day all the students went and garrowed Swami in the mandir. "Swami, please forgive us. We want you to talk to us." No, I'm not upset, I'm not angry. Why are you feeling like this? But anyway, our seniors, they cried a lot, and also we were very emotionally affected. And that day, in the night, we had this elocution competition in the university auditorium. So myself and one of my classmates, we went to our warden. Mr. Narsimurthy was our warden at that time, and we requested, "Sir, we want to skip the elocution competition because we are not in a mood to speak." He said, no, it's a formal function and the Vice Chancellor himself is coming, so you should not skip this function. Now elders are saying we should obey whatever is being said. So I thought I will skip dinner, and I was having a splitting headache. And I was wondering to myself, how am I ever going to speak in the elocution competition with this splitting headache? But anyway, I skipped dinner, I came out of the hostel, I went to the auditorium, and there was this door threshold. There was some light music going on. I crossed the door. The first thing that startled me was my headache disappeared. It's like this side of the door I am having headache. I crossed the door and the headache had disappeared. I said, my God, what has happened? And light music was going on. The hall was almost empty. Some audiovisual team was there. They were getting the mics ready, etc. So I waited for my turn. Slowly the hall filled up. Students came, teachers came, Vice Chancellor arrived, the competition started. And in those days we used to have impromptu topics. Means you have to speak on the spot. So one student is going to speak. At that point of time, you pick up your topic, and within 5 minutes you have to be ready to speak. So one student went, I picked my topic, I opened the chit and was stunned seeing the chit. The chit read, "To see the world in a grain of sand." To see the world in a grain of sand. How can you see the world in a grain of sand? In a small speck of sand. I said, my God, with all as it is, I am not in a mood to speak. And how did they select this kind of topic? For who can speak on a grain of sand? And that to see the world in the grain of sand. Then one of my seniors, don't worry, I'll tell you something. He was whispering something in my ear. And I was hardly half my mind is listening, half it is not listening. Next moment announced, and the next speaker is going to be Mr. Sanjay Sahani. So I went. Till now, I don't know what I spoke that day. But this much I remember, after my speech, I went and sat in the last row in the auditorium. Last row of the auditorium, I went and sat. And I had a divine experience. Because I had it earlier, and I've had many such experiences in the past, so now I'm able to recognize it very, very distinct. So I heard Swami's voice, and Swami asked, "How did you speak today?" I said, "Swami, today is the worst speech I have ever made in my life." Swami was calm. He said, "Witness my sankalpa," he said. "Witness my sankalpa." That's all. So all the students finished, then the judges were deliberating, and then one of the judges went to the mic to announce. And they said, third position goes to so-and-so, second position goes to so-and-so, and first position, he said, goes to Mr. Sanjay Sahni. And I was stunned. I don't myself know what I have spoken. And as if I should not forget what has happened, next day I was in my English class, my English professor asked me, Sanjay, what happened to you yesterday in the elocution competition? He said, sir, I was not in a proper frame of mind. He said, I also thought something like that must have happened, but I don't know what happened to the judges. When he said that day I realized the power of divine sankalpa. The power of divine sankalpa. If God's will is there, you may be the most undeserving candidate, but He can catapult you to the front line. If His sankalpa is not there, you may be the most eligible person, but you may be nowhere. The power, just 2 days ago, one student came and asked me. He said, sir, I was reading Swami Sathya speaks, and the Swami says in one place, see, I love all equally. I love all equally. But my grace is not equal for all. My grace is not equal for all. So the boy was very surprised by that kind of statement. He said, sir, what is the difference between love and grace? Sometimes our students also get such deep thoughts, and it's like a googly, you don't know how to face the ball also. But fortunately, in our association with Swami, he has whispered so many things into our ears that at the right time, sometimes some bulb will go on. So I remembered this Swami's description. He said, God's love is like the sun. See, the sun is shining. But whatever you're doing, we have put a shelter here, and we are now hiding ourselves in this shelter. So, yes, a little bit of the light we get, but we don't get the direct impact of the sunlight. So if you hide yourself in a dark room, close all the windows, all the doors, how will the light reach you? Is the sun not there? Sun is there. Sun is definitely there. But if you want to experience that sunlight, then you have to open the windows, you have to open the doors, and then you have to come out. And then, for like everybody, the sun never discriminates. Oh, this person is our zonal coordinator, so I will shine only on him. This person is a small child, I am not going to shine on him. This person is a criminal, this person is a sadhu. The Catholicity of the love of God. One beautiful incident once happened in Prashantli. I must share this with you. One day, there was this, Swami was in Darshan, Prashantli, and there was this very big person, ruffian-looking gentleman sitting in the Darshan line. And Swami came by with great difficulty. He got up and he had a letter in his hand and stretching his letter, wants to give the letter to Swami, and he gave the letter to Swami. Now he was supreme. People saw him and he was in supreme. Oh, Bhagavan has taken my letter. But few paces Swami walked, and you know what he did with the letter? He dropped it in the lap of a sadhu. He dropped it in the lap of a sadhu. The moment Swami went into the interview room, devotees got up, and this man, he came to that sadhu and said, that is my letter, please give it to me. He said, no, Swami gave me this letter, I am not going to give it to you. That's all. The quarrel started, and the moment any such thing happens, the first thing to arrive, people to arrive on the scene will be Sevadal. So Sevadal arrived and said, what's the problem? The problem is that this is my letter, I don't want him to read my letter, I have written some very personal things, and I don't want him to read my letter. Sadhu said, Swami has given me this letter, I am not going to give the letter. Now how to solve the problem, because the root of the problem is Swami. So that Sevadal is breaking his head what to do. Finally he got this brainwave. So he said, he requested the sadhu, see, he has written some personal things in his letter and you are not interested in that. So we will do a compromise. You keep the envelope. Swami has given you the envelope, you keep the envelope. That letter you please return to him. So fortunately the sadhu agreed. He said, okay. So the envelope was opened and the letter was pulled out. When the letter was pulled out, seeing that letter, this huge gentleman started shedding tears. What came out was a blank sheet of paper. A blank sheet of paper. Seeing that, this man started crying. And the Sevadar got upset. What is this? You created such a fuss for a blank sheet of paper? Nothing is there inside, and for that you have created such a ruckus. So that man, through his tears he said, I am the great sinner. And whatever sins I have done in my life, I had written in my letter, and I had prayed to Bhagwan, ki Bhagwan, if you want me to start a new life, please forgive me. And when I see this blank sheet of paper, the message that I receive is, I have wiped your past clean. From today onwards, lead a good life. So the envelope was, the Savadal was highly thrilled by what has happened and being an eyewitness, but he found that something was still there in the envelope. So he put his hand inside, and from inside came 6 currency notes, 100 rupee currency notes. Seeing that, this big gentleman said that this is not my money. I have not put any money in the envelope. And seeing that 600 rupees, our sadhu started crying. So this man, till now they were quarreling. Now both are crying. First this man was crying, now the sadhu is crying. So the Sevadal asked him, why are you crying? He said, I came with so much difficulty to Prashantanalayam, and I have to now return to my native place. I didn't have any money. So whom to ask? Who will give me money? So I was praying to Bhagwan that he give me the exact fare that is required for him to go from Prashantanilayam to his village. Same amount of money was there in Nilam. And seeing how Bhagwan has answered his prayer, he was, in the ninth heaven. So that is Swami. See, the beauty of this whole episode, why I narrated is, see, the same Lord could simultaneously, same moment, satisfy a so-called sinner as well as a Mahatma. See, this kind of a reconciliation of opposites can be possible only for divinity. For us, either we are, we are spiritual and therefore we will be in the company of the sadhu. You are a sinner, we will not be with you. But Swami, for him, because all are his children, the love of God is uniform, equal for everybody, like the sun rays. But there is a difference between love and his grace. Once Swami was speaking about how to get God's grace, because in the spiritual path, we do get interested in knowing how can we earn God's grace. And Swami used this example from the terminology of bankers. Of course, we also understand it very nicely. He said, supposing you want to get money from a bank, how you can get money? There are 3 ways in which you can get money. First way, you go to the bank, you open a bank account, and when you open the bank account, savings bank account, you deposit some money. Whenever you need, you go and withdraw the money, the banker will give you the money. That is the first way in which you can withdraw the money. Supposing you have not opened a bank account, how to get money from the bank? Do you have some assets at home, some houses there, some gold is there, some life insurance policies there? You can take it to the bank and put it as pledge or hypothecation or mortgage, and on the basis of the security, the bank will give you money. Supposing you don't have either, then how to get the money from the bank? Is there somebody who can act as a guarantor? Somebody will say, if he does not pay, I will pay. And the banker has confidence in him, then if that person gives a guarantee, you can get money. So these are 3 ways in which you can get money from the bank. He said, I am also a divine banker. And there are 3 ways in which you can access money from this divine bank. First way. And he uses the analogy of that savings bank account. Just as you put every day some small amounts in this divine bank, what is the deposit God expects from you? He expects from you good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Keep making small deposits. Keep making small deposits. In your hour of need, it will come back to you. You know, our former state president, Mr. T.G. Krishnamurthy. It was, I think, the year 1993. He was traveling from Bangalore to Puttaparthi. And when he was going in the car somewhere near Chikbalapur, they had a very major accident. There was a somersault. The car went upside down 3 times in the air and finally landed with wheels up and the top down. For a few minutes, nobody knew what has happened. After some time, Mr. Krishnamurthy came to consciousness. So first thing he asked his wife was also there, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, I am fine." Little bruises were there. Then there was a friend of his also traveling in the car. He asked him, "Are you fine?" He had escaped without any injury. Mr. Krishnamurthy himself had a collarbone injury, fracture. So they rang up to relatives in Bangalore, they rushed there, then they admitted to a hospital, and finally treatment was given. 1 month later, he reached Prashantilim. And the in charge of our Sathya airport in Prashantilim, Mr. Oberoi, bumped into him. "Hey Krishnamurthy, how is your collarbone fracture?" So Mr. Krishnamurthy had not told anybody about his fracture. He said, "How do you know? How do you know that I had a fracture?" "No, Swami told me." "Swami told you? When did he tell you?" And then Mr. Oberoi narrated, he said, "When you had the accident, Swami told me." He said, that day, that moment, I was sitting in the mandir. And the door opened, Swami came out of the interview room, and Swami is there. And he said, "Hey, your friend Krishnamurthy, he has had a major accident on his way to Prashantilim. And he has fractured it." So this man thought, everything over, Swami, means he's gone. Then Swami said, no, he is safe. He's safe. So that was how Mr. Oberoi came to know about this thing. Then when he checked, Mr. Krishnamurthy found that exact time when he had the accident, same time Swami has had this dialogue with Mr. Oberoi. So he went to Patti, then from there Patti, Swami came to Bangalore, and when he was in Bangalore, Krishnamurthy also came to Bangalore, and some Japanese devotees had come. So Swami asked him, "Krishnamurthy, give some message to the devotees." So, this was uppermost in his mind, so he started narrating, "See, this is what has happened," and then he came to the crucial point, and he said, "Swami saved my life." So Swami said, "I didn't save your life." He said, "No, Swami, you only saved my life." Swami said, "I did not save your life." "No, Swami, you and you alone have saved my life." "I did not save your life," Swami said. Then Swami explained. He said, "See, when you do seva in the Sai organization, people who were beneficiaries of your seva, what they used to say, "Oh, thank you sir, you have done so much for us." And what you would reply to that? You would say, No, don't thank us. You must thank Sathya Sai Baba. He is doing all this for you." So all their prayers, all their good wishes kept on coming to me. And I kept on, crediting it into your bank account. I'm your divine banker, I kept it crediting to your account. 1 minute before the accident, I knew that the accident was going to take place, so I checked up your bank balance. And I found there was enough bank balance to take care of you. But the main point we must catch. What is the main point? Swami said, when the accident took place, without my permission, please mark the words, without my permission, your karma phala flew from your bank account and protected you. Flew from your bank account and protected you. So, that is the first way in which we get divine grace. Every day, small acts of service, whatever, good thoughts, you did something. Maybe, you might have just helped an elder at home. You may have got a cup of coffee, you may have got a glass of water. That small act, whether anybody has seen or not, God has, recorded. He's our Chitragupta. When very beautiful incident happened recently, one of our students, he finished his education and he was applying for the armed forces, defense forces. So he cleared the first round, and his next round, this happened last year, he was due for the second round in January. So our Sai organization in Delhi had organized some kind of a blood camp or something like that. So he went for a blood donation camp. In the course of that blood donation, it was discovered that he was having hepatitis C. The moment the diagnosis was received, all his dreams got shattered because he now cannot come back to the university, and he wants to become an army officer or an air force officer, whatever, and now that is also not possible with this disease. So he was shattered, and his mother was also so worried. Swami, what's going to happen? One day in the night, Swami comes in the mother's dream, and the mother remembers, oh Swami, my son is having this problem. So in the dream itself, Swami, my son, he is having this hepatitis C and he cannot join the defense forces, all that, mother cried out to Swami, and Swami said, don't worry, everything will be fine. And this is what Swami narrates in the dream to the mother. He said, this incident happened when your son was studying in Vrindavan. One day, he was walking from the hostel to the college, and there is a bridge connecting, because there is a drain there, so we have constructed a bridge so that students don't have to use the public road. So as he was crossing the bridge, he found that a pup, a small pup which had just been given birth by its mother dog, the mother dog was not there at that moment. It was lying there, and mother was not there, so it just moved around, eyes also not fully open, and it fell into the ditch. And there were so many thorny plants around, so it cannot, it's almost like 10 feet deep, so it's not possible for the 15 feet, and it's not possible for the dog to come up. And there are thorny plants, it's trying to move around, and it's pricking, the thorns are pricking, and it was yelping to glory. So this boy saw that sight, and he found that there's nobody to help the dog, so he jumped into the drain, he picked up that pup and brought it to safe ground. And Swami told the mother, it happened not on one occasion, on 2 occasions when he was passing it happened, and he has done this. And this is what Swami said, in my place, I mean, the whole world belongs to the Lord, but Prashanti and Vrindavan are some very, very sacred spots. The Lord chose that these will be the venue of the divine drama unfolding, and from there to the whole world. In my place, if anybody does any good act, the fruit of that act multiplies manifold, and in his hour of greatest need, it will come and save him, it will come and protect him. This is the assurance. So the mother got up, she was jubilant, and she went and told the son. And the son is shocked because he has never shared this with anybody. He has himself forgotten. Imagine Swami is coming in the mother's dream and telling, see, this is why. So God is like that Chitragupta, Unconsciously also you do something good, God has recorded it. See, this fellow, on that occasion, he has done that particular, that beautiful episode from the Bhagavatam, because we are on the Lord story, Sankranti day, this time of the year. Krishna with the Gopikas and not Gopikas, the queens, they are having sugar cane. In the process of eating sugar cane, a sharp edge of the sugar cane cuts his little finger, and the finger starts bleeding. So Swami beautifully described, the scene. He said, look at the reaction of different people who are seated there. First, Rukmini sees that scene. Immediately, instantaneously, rushes inside the palace to get some bandage, to tie up Krishna's finger. That's Rukmini. Then Satyabhama. Swami, when he was describing us, Somberi Satyabhama. Somberi means lazy. She shouted for her maid servant, hey, do you not see Krishna's finger is bleeding, go get some bandage. That is Satyabhama for you. Same moment, same sight, Draupadi also saw. And she saw that, what she did? Sankranti day, all of them are wearing new saris. She took the pallu of a sari and tore the new sari, a piece from that, and immediately she bandaged that little finger of Krishna. In her hour of greatest need, when she is calling out to Krishna in the court of Dhritarashtra, Krishna is thinking to himself, Draupadi is calling me, what has she done that she deserves my grace at this moment? At that moment, he remembers this Sankranti day, how his little finger was bleeding, and she took her sari and tied the little, piece to his finger, and he willed Akshaya, Akshaya. And I think once General Mahadin was sharing with us, I don't know how many yards of saris, 100 plus saris, was added to her, and to save her. So, God is like that. Even if we have forgotten, God remembers it. And the story of this boy is something amazing. He went for a medical checkup. Shortly after that, the doctor's diagnosis was, sir, there is no more infection in the body, but there are the antibodies. When we get an infection, the body has its own immune system. So it generates antibodies to protect the body. So there are these antibodies for hepatitis C, but the infection is now no longer there. That is the power of Swami's Sankalpa. That is the power of Swami's grace. So, to be associated with the Sai organization, to sing bhajans, to be associated with Bal Vikas, to be associated with any activity, it is a chance actually to earn the Lord's grace. The second way, what is the second way to earn God's grace? The second way in Swami's banker analogy is that, you have some great, asset, and you give it as mortgage, and against that the banker gives you money. So what is that? Supposing in this life I have not done anything good, in previous lives have you done anything good? That is also enough for the Lord. In previous lives, to do good also prapti is required. Once it so happened, Swami had gone to Simla, and there was this lady in the darshan line. She picked up a baby and she went to she got up and Swami came and Swami, mere bacche ko aankhein de de. The child was blind, and Swami walked by. He came inside the house, and behind him Swami Karunananda was there. So Karunananda started crying. So Swami looked at this crying sadhu. Karunananda, he used to always be with Swami for so many years, settled down in Prashantland. So he was crying. He said, Karunananda, what happened to you? Why are you crying? And then Karunananda told Swami, with so much of intensity that mother prayed to you, is bacche ko aankhein de de, and you just came away indifferent. You didn't even bother about her prayer. Then Swami explained, Karunananda, do you know who this child is? Do you know who this child is? In his previous life, he was following this profession in Bombay. He used to kidnap the children, small children of other people, and he used to blind them and send them on the streets to beg, because seeing those blind children, people will feel like giving some alms. That was the kind of profession he was following. When he has done all that in his previous life, how can I give such a person eyesight so easily? So, there is a terrific connection between our past life and our current life. Not so easy to get. But have you done anything good in your past life? If you have done, then God is willing to encash it. But what about people who have not done anything in their past life? Who have not done anything good in this life? Is there any hope for getting God's grace for such people? For such people, there is one more opportunity. And what is that opportunity? Do you know somebody who can come and act as a guarantor for you? Who will say, if he does not pay, I will pay on his behalf. And most of us think that that guarantor is a guru. Our guru will be a guarantor. But what if, people didn't have, until this point, no guru for me. That means no chance, no hope. Swami, while explaining this beautiful analogy, he said, who is the guru? Your faith is the guru. Your faith is the guru. And this very beautiful episode from the Bhagavatam, it seems Narada was one day, in his cosmic travel, he was passing by. So there was this devotee who was doing meditation under the tree. So he saw Narada and he said, Narada, please come, please come. So Narada is there for all devotees. So he came to this person. Narada, will you be going to Vaikuntham? He said, yes, every other day I am in Vaikuntham. when you next go to Vaikuntham, will you do me a favor? What is that favor? Can you ask the Lord, I am meditating under this tree, when will I get the Lord's darshan? That's all. Surely, I will ask. Next visit itself, I am going to ask him. So, Narada happened to go to Vaikuntham, and Lord Narayana was there, happily seated. He said, Narada, yem samacharam, what is the news? So Narada remembered this devotee's prayer. He said, Lord, in such and such place, under that tree, this devotee is meditating. He has this question. He is asking, when will you give him darshan? This is his question. Very casually, Lord replied, you tell him, as many leaves are there on that tree, so many years should pass, after that I'll give him darshan. Narada thought to himself, poor fellow. Already so many years he has been meditating. No, so many more years have to pass by. So anyway, Narada left Vaikuntham after some time, and it so happened after some days again he was passing by, and he saw this devotee under the tree. He said, my God, now that fellow will ask me what did Lord say? So he doesn't want to tell. So he's looking other side and trying to escape. And this man sees Narada, Narada. He calls him, please come, and and Narada doesn't want to come. He is pretending as if he has not heard, but this fellow ran and he came here. Narada, did you go to Vaikuntham? Yes, I went to Vaikuntham. Did you ask Lord my question? Yes, I asked you. What was the answer the Lord gave? And Narada said, fool of the highest order, could you not find some other tree to meditate under? Some banyan tree or some banana tree or something? Why this banyan tree? He said, no, you tell me what the Lord said. He said, the Lord said, as many leaves in this tree, so many years should pass, then he will come and give you darshan. And the next second, something unimaginable happened. Narada could not believe his eyes. The next moment, Lord Narayana is manifested there, and the devotee is doing Shashtang Namaskar, devotee and God, one with each other and in Mahabliss, both are in bliss. The only person who is fretting and fuming is Narada. So, Narayana sees Narada in this angry mode. He said, Narada, what happened? He said, Lord, you may not have any value for your words, there is some value for my words. He said, what has happened, Narada? Why are you feeling like this? You only told me that so many years will pass, as many leaves are there on the tree, then after that you will give him darshan, and instantaneously right under my own nose you have broken your word, and my word is also broken. Who will believe in me tomorrow? Then, the Lord is trying to pacify Narada. No, Narada, please understand. No, I am not willing to understand. Listen. प्रबल प्रेम के पाले पढ़कर प्रभु को नियम बदलते देखा. This is a beautiful song. प्रबल प्रेम के पाले पढ़कर प्रभु को नियम बदलते देखा, अपना मान भले टल जाए, भक्त का मान न टलते देखा. Being intoxicated by the love of his devotee, the Lord may break his word, may himself, humiliate himself, but he will see to it that there's no harm which will come to his devotee, no humiliation for his devotee. This is what Narayana explains to Narada. He said, Narada, when you communicated your message to this fellow, what was his reaction? What was your reaction? Papam. After so many years of meditation, he will get darshan. That was your reaction. What is his reaction? Oh, Lord said, I'm going to get darshan. I'm going to get darshan. At that moment, his heart was so filled with love, so filled with anandam. Narada, I could not resist to come here immediately. I could not resist to come here immediately. That is faith. You have not done anything good in this life, doesn't matter. You have not done anything in your past lives, it doesn't matter. Do you have faith that Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba can do something for you, that he loves you, that he can save you, that he will protect you? Do you have that faith? That faith will protect you. There's this beautiful incident which happened somewhere in our country. It is related to me by Dr. Ravi Kumar, the warden of our hostel. When he was in the thick of research, I don't want to go into that experience. He has had 2 occasions when he was doing research work in the laboratory and he was working with acids, and in the process of the experiment, the acid went into his eye and he lost his eyesight. And then it's a very beautiful episode how he got back his eyesight, but I'm not narrating that story. He has forgotten all the details, so he himself does not narrate this story. But when he was in a very difficult time in his research, somebody shared this story with him and it gave him great strength. And at that moment he shared it with me, so I share it with everybody. Somewhere in India, in some Samithi, some satsang was going on. And somebody had heard obviously this story, either directly or indirectly in Prashantinjam or Vrindavan or wherever it was narrated, because Swami used to love the story and any number of times he has made him narrate in his presence. So he heard the story. In the Samithi Satsang, he was sharing, this is how the boy lost his eyes and Bhagwan Baba gave him the eyesight. In that group assembly, there was a child who was blind. There was a girl child who was blind. At the end of the narration, there was sudden commotion in the assembly because the child started saying, I am able to see, I am able to see. And everybody asked, what are you able to see? Are you able to see this? Yes, yes, I am able to see. It was so stunning, and mark the experience that is being narrated is of somebody else. It is not even in the physical presence of Swami. It is somewhere in some Samithi, in some corner of the country. Third party is narrating it. People are hearing it, and the child has only heard the story, and by hearing the story, the child got back her eyesight. Many times I ask myself this question, how is it possible? How could that child have got back the eyesight? And this is my understanding, this is my explanation, the explanation I give to my students. I said, at that moment, by hearing that story, the child who was blind would have thought to herself, oh, in this world, there is somebody who can give me back my eyesight. Even if all the doctors of the world say that I am going to be blind till the end of my life, I am going to be blind, there is somebody in the world who can give me back my eyesight. And that faith in the child's heart would have become so intense that, like Swami said, faith is the guru and he acts as a guarantor. Your faith, I don't cure anybody, it is the faith of the devotee which mingles with my love, and both unite, and that is what brings the rescue, brings the protection, brings the grace. So there are how many ways to earn the grace of the God, but you have to make that effort. Grace requires effort from our side. Love is spontaneous. God loves everybody. No person is left out in that love of the Lord. So with these few words, I think we have Balvika children also. We are looking forward to seeing them, hearing them. I thank all of you for giving me this opportunity of Mananam, because every time I think of our Lord, the first beneficiary is myself. Whether other people benefit or not, I get great joy in reliving all those precious moments. And one dialogue last I'll share with Swami. Once I was telling in Swami's presence that see, Swami will take care of us in the future always. Swami stopped me and said, how do you know? How do you know? And I was stumped, because sometimes while speaking we say something, and it was in a way Swami pointing out what is deep within my own heart. And I thought to myself, because the whole audience's student population in Trai Vrindavan is waiting to hear my dialogue before I can continue my speech, what I am going to reply to Swami. And then I said, there are certain questions which the head does not have the right to answer, only the heart can answer. And this is the answer of my heart. In this lifetime, in my conscious level, I know how many times we have been saved and protected by Swami, how he has taken care of us. The other day I just was talking to a senior professor in Anantapur campus. I just asked her, Aim Samacharam, like Swami used to, she said, it's so wonderful to hear that statement. Swami used to ask us like that, and she was in real soup, because in her native place she had a house, and she got a message that there was an MLA who wanted to construct one mall there. And that mall, the size of the mall was so huge, it was coming and encroaching into her property. So a message came that half her house has already been destroyed by that MLA. How are you going to fight this problem? And then she recalled, which gave her great strength. One day when she went with some problem to Swami, Swami said, you know, you keep on sinking, you keep on drowning, I will keep on bailing you out. So this samsara saga is such that we will keep on drowning. And we keep on praying to the Lord, and the Lord does his bailout act always for us. So I said, in this lifetime Swami has taken such wonderful care of us. This is the heart's conviction that if there is going to be a future life, in those lives and definitely in this life, he will take care of us. So let us believe that Swami is there, he loves us, and he will take care of us. Everything, all that we need to do is to align our life in accordance with his divine will. So shall I close here? Because the story of the Lord is infinite. You cannot end. That's why Khalil Gibran says, forgive me for beginning a story I cannot end. Forgive me for beginning a story I cannot end, because the end is still a love song in the wind. So I cannot end the story. When we, like once I told Swami in Swami's presence, you know, you come in front of our Kamban, when he starts writing Ramayanam, he describes that. He said, you know, the story of the Lord is like a milk of ocean. And Kamban describes himself, I'm like the cat in front of the ocean of milk. And I want to drink the whole ocean. But what to do? My capacity is so limited and the ocean is so vast. So the story of the Lord is like the waves in the ocean. When will it start? How many waves are there on the ocean? Countless. How does your count begin? You start when you get tired, you say, now I'll stop. That is right, but the ocean's move is ceaseless. The ocean is ceaseless. So therefore, with those few words, I thank this opportunity for this Shabanam Mananam.